Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Hoffman. Let me reach over and get my props. And I want to talk to you in this short video about why you get stuck and why you feel like you can't move forward and something's wrong and you have all this potential, you feel motivated, you see the distant goal, but somehow you just can't seem to get there. And you get to a certain point and then everything falls apart. Maybe you get stuck or you get sabotage yourself, and there's a very important reason for that, and I'm going to talk about this in this video. I talked about it if you watched my Soul Trauma Healing Secrets series that I just presented. This is one thing I talked about. So we're going to use little props. So this is, imagine this is the energy your soul has for you. So your soul comes along and says, here's your potential, here's all this wonderful energy, and here is all the possibilities that I have for you. And you go, yes, this is great, I'm going to take this all in. But there's something in between this energy and your ability to receive it, and it's called soul trauma. Now, soul trauma is the energetic residue that is left over from past life issues, from current life issues. If you had a difficult childhood, if you were abused, if you were mistreated, even if somebody said something 20, 30 years ago that deeply hurt your feelings or humiliated you or wounded you in some way, it created an imprint in your energy field that I call soul trauma. And that imprint gets triggered every time you decide, hey, I need to step out, I need to speak up, I need to shine brightly. Something inside you goes, oh no, look what happened the last time. Because as I always say, we fear consequences. We don't fear fear. So if the consequence of you speaking up, shining brightly, speaking loudly was somebody squished you or knocked you down, it doesn't matter when it happened, you're going to avoid that kind of behavior in the future. So when your soul says, I've got all this potential, you respond with a filter. And your filter is your soul trauma message. So your filter can be like this. So you tell your soul, okay, I've got this filter, I want to receive the energy, but I can only put this much, and only this much of it's going to come out to me. So your soul goes, okay, fine. And guess what happens? You get a trickle or a tiny bit of the energy that you could have had. Now, this is kind of a big filter. So the bigger your soul trauma, the more times you've been traumatized, the more soul wounding you have, the more things that have happened to you over the course of your life. And remember, we're talking about the continuum of your lifetime. So we're not just this lifetime, all the emotional and energetic baggage that you bring into every lifetime gets added to it. So you can have a really big filter. Maybe you just have a few things, but the bigger your soul wounds, the smaller the filter. So rather than having a big filter like this, now you tell your soul, okay, you've got to put it through because I can only take this tiny little bit of a trickle. So it doesn't matter how much energy you have and your potential is up here. You tell your soul, put it through here because my trauma is my filter. Now, as I said, the more the trauma you have, the harder it is for you to process any kind of energy, and the smaller your filter gets, until you can have a tiny little filter like this. I use this to fill my little essential oil bottles. And you tell your soul, okay, here's my filter. Now, how much energy do you think you're going to be able to bring into your life if you've got so much soul trauma, so much wounding, that this is the filter everything has to go through? And what you get, I can barely see that, I don't have my glasses on, but what you get is this tiny little amount of your potential. So do you see why you feel stuck? And do you see why, this looks like a relatively, big filter, but you can't take this in until it passes through this. And the more wounding you have, the smaller your filter gets, the less it lets inside, until you have this massively small little filter that says, okay, only let a drop, because this literally lets things in by the drop. Only let a drop of energy rather than pour on the tsunami. Let me see my full potential. And on a soul level, this is your potential. But on an emotional, energetic level, you've got all these barriers, all these traumas, all these soul wounds, all this stuff that's standing in between you. Remember, you fear consequences, between you and your potential. So I hope you'll join me in the soul energy trauma series that I'm holding, and I'll put the link below the video, but I wanted to share this with you because this is why you feel stuck. This is why you think, I've got all this potential. Why can't I just do it? Why am I so afraid? Why do I get stuck? Why do I feel blocked? Why do I get to a certain point and everything stops? Well, it's because of your filters. It's because of your trauma filters, and they're not letting the fullness of the energy pass through because of all the fear that you have around them. So this is, again, this is an interesting concept for you to consider, because you might feel, oh, it's not meant to be, every time something doesn't work out. And if you know me, you know I don't really like that phrase, it's not meant to be, because there's always something else behind it. But this is the reason. It's your filters. It's the trauma that filter the energy so that you aren't allowing yourself to take in as much as you can, because it has to pass through these filters that you've set up to protect yourself from being hurt, from being persecuted, from being betrayed, from being abandoned. All of the traumatizing events that you can think of, this is your protection. So I hope you'll join me in this series, as we're going to talk about these and what to do about them, and how to heal the soul trauma and the wounds that they create, so that you can live a fulfilled, my ball fell down, you can live a fulfilled life, and you can look at your soul's potential for you and go, let's try this, so you can take this all in, rather than passing it through these little filters that just let little drops of potential and little drops of energy into your life. It's Jennifer Hoffman of enlighteninglife.com. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.